So today we're going to learn to write a month's worth of newsletters in a single 60 to 90-minute session. So I'm giving you the extra time, the 60 to 90 minutes to actually create these. So don't get scared. We're going to go over this within 30 minutes, but once you do it, it shouldn't take you that long to do a newsletter. We're going to learn all the tricks that go along with this. You ready? Okay, so by the end of this session, you'll have everything that you need to create 4 newsletters. So it's a simple, repeatable newsletter system that removes the decision fatigue and makes weekly newsletters easy for you and they're manageable. I'm going to share some strategies that I use and some AI tools to help you write faster, more efficiently without sacrificing your unique voice. In addition, we'll go over a formula to generate the newsletter ideas effortlessly so that you never have to face a blank page again. No more writer block or anything like that. But the goal of it is to create a system that's so simple that you just need to show up, create your newsletter, and it becomes second nature to you. So it's really not about adding more work to your plate. Instead, it's about finding an approach that works for you and your schedule. Okay, so the real problem isn't what you think. It's not the writing speed or content ideas. It's decision fatigue. Because every week you have to come up and answer the same exhausting questions. What topic? How long? Is it interesting enough? Does it sound too promotional? Will readers care? And by the time that you have wrestled with all of those decisions, you're already mentally drained and you've got other things that you could be doing. You could be writing or editing your next book. The hard part really isn't the writing itself. Instead, it's the constant decision making that's required to do this. So you are a writer, you know how to write, but the mental energy that's drained from deciding everything about the newsletter makes it so you're like, why am I doing this? Well, there's a very good reason why you're doing this. They only have one job. Your newsletter has one job to do, and it is to stay connected with your audience. They are not meant to sell, impress, or go viral, the newsletters. You just want to consistently remind your readers that you exist and that you're still creating. So when you let go of the pressure and expectations around newsletters, it will become a more refreshing way for you to connect with your audience. This is a shift in mindset, and it can transform your newsletter from being a burden into being a breath of fresh air for both you and your readers. I selected the lighthouse because it's cutting through the fog and it represents clarity and focus. It's the kind of clarity and focus in relationships newsletters can provide for you and your readers. Now, your readers don't expect perfection, so get that out of your mind right away. What they want is to hear your authentic voice. So sharing, what is your authentic voice? So it's sharing small glimpse into your own life, into your daily creative process. And these things are going to help you build that connection and relatability to your readers. However, consistency and reliability are going to matter much more than flawless execution. So you don't have to be perfect. You can make mistakes in your newsletter. You don't have to worry about, is it too long? Is it too short? Any of those things. What's more important is that they get a newsletter in their inbox on a regular basis. So showing up regularly and consistently is much more important than showing up perfectly. Your readers are fans. They're on your mailing list because they either bought a book or they are interested about you or something. So they've already indicated some kind of interest and they want to stay in your orbit. So focus on simply being present with them instead of being perfect. So here's the formula that will never fail you. It's a three-part structure, and it's going to help you create a consistent, effective newsletter every single week. And yes, you need a newsletter every single week. The formula is the three parts. First, a friendly hello or be nice. My daughter used to always tell me about my emails. Be nice first. It's a personal, warm opening, and it's to create an intimacy with your readers. The second one is a small focus. So this newsletter is going to have just one key piece of content, not a whole lot, just one key piece, whether it's a lesson, recommendation, a reflection, a story. The third thing is going to be a gentle close, and this is ending with a conversational, non-pushy invitation for reader engagement. You want the reader to reply to your email, so you give them the prompt, the opportunity to hit reply. This formula is created and designed to remove guesswork and to make newsletter writing faster and easier while it still delivers value to your readers. You also want it to be only about 200 to 400 words long, so not really long. Your writing time of what you're coming up with is like 15 to 20 minutes. And you're going to repeat this over and over again. And this structure will work for any topic, any mood, any season. What it does allow you to do is to consistently produce high quality newsletters without having to start from scratch every single time. Nobody wants to start from scratch every time. Then the question, which was the whole part of this, is how does AI fit into this newsletter workflow and how does it make it easier for you? First of all, it's not going to replace you. AI cannot replace you. It can't replace your unique voice. It can't replace your experiences. It can't replace your personality. And that's not what it's really designed for. Instead, what it can help you do is remove that friction and obstacles that prevent you from getting started on your newsletter every week. It can help you generate topic ideas. It can create first drafts. It can help you organize your thoughts. And the most important thing is it overcomes that dreaded blank page. The real game changer here, though, is that there's just, if you have one good prompt, just one prompt, and you fine tune it, and you can reuse this every single week or every single newsletter that you put out, you're using the same prompt. You don't have to become an expert in AI. You don't have to use a bunch of different tools. You just save this one prompt and you change one line in it to reflect your current situation or your current goal. The goal here is to leverage AI to make your newsletter creation process efficient, but not to have AI write the whole thing for you. Your authentic voice and your perspective and your personality are still very essential. Because I'm a nice person, I'm going to give you, and it's also in the handout that I gave you the link for, and I can email it to you as well afterwards. But here is the exact prompt that you're going to use every week to write your newsletter. It includes a template with specific instructions on the tone, the length, the style, and the content that should be included. It's designed to help you remove the guesswork, and it makes it easy to generate a consistent, high-quality newsletter every single time. And readers love consistency, and they love and even if they don't recognize it, they recognize structure and they recognize things that come on a regular basis and things that look regular, feel regular, sound regular. Okay. Your regular is different than somebody else's regular, like your regular is different than my regular, but they're both authentic to our voices. And the key to this is to save this template, just upload it, just update it every time that you use it with one topic, and then refine what the AI comes out with to make it sound like you and true to your voice. If you follow this prompt, it will ensure that your newsletter is engaging, personal, and aligned with what what you want your audience to read. Okay, and I'm going to, after this, show you a live demo of how to use that prompt. That can be so that you will see how quickly it is to generate 4 completely different newsletter drafts. The key is to vary the topic line. It's the same prompt with different topic lines that results in different newsletter content. So let's walk through the four prompts that you're going to need. So for the writing life theme, the topic is, well, for example, we're going to do, this is an example. The example for this newsletter is going to be the moment I realized my outline was wrong. That creates a relatable newsletter about the messy middle of draftings and learning to trust the revision process. Okay. For a reading life theme, the topic could be the book that made me ugly cry on a plane, because this generates a heartfelt book recommendation that creates emotional connection and invites the reader to show their own emotional needs. For a personal moment, it could be, the topic could be why I have been radio silent lately. This is a vulnerable, honest update that encourages, that reminds the readers that you're a human and that strengthens your relationship with them through authenticity. For a reader question, the topic could be somebody asked me about my reading routine, or like somebody asked me what my office looks like, or where do I write? And this practical, encouraging response helps other readers make the original asker feel seen and valued, and also makes them feel seen and valued. The key point is just that with a few minutes of work, you can create 4 weeks worth of engaging, personalized letter content. And then the power move for this is to batch and schedule. So like if you sit down one day a month for 60 minutes to an hour to 60 to 90 minutes, you could create 4 newsletters, and you're going to use the master prompt and you're just going to refine it. What it'll do using the AI and using this one single prompt is going to allow you to create 4 separate but still kind of connected newsletters. And then what you do is you go ahead and schedule them in your newsletter program, in your email program. You schedule them for the same day, the same time of each month. So it's all done. And then you could forget about your newsletters. They're done. You've got them. The only thing you need to remember here is done is better than perfect. And a scheduled, slightly imperfect newsletter is infinitely better than the perfect one that you never send out. And once you do this, you could forget about it for a whole month. And the real truth of everything is that you have to show up. You have to be consistent. You have to show up in emails, and you have to be out there so that people can see you. There's a difference between being present and consistent with your audience and not being. If you're not perfect, it doesn't matter. You have to show up. You just have to. If you disappear, readers will notice eventually that you're silent, and they'll ask each other readers, are they not writing a book? When's their next book out? What have you heard about them? Did they die? I mean, all kinds of things. Or they've stopped writing. When you show up imperfectly, they still know that you're around. They still know that you're working. They still can go back and remember other books that you've written, other books in a series, and they're going to have that connection with you, so that when you do have a new book out or you have a sale or something like that, even if they've already purchased it, they can buy it for one of their friends, or they can tell their friends about it. And you don't need to know when there's radio silence, when you only send a newsletter out every time you have a release. That's truly radio silence, because it depends on there is a reason that people who do these fast releases, the indie authors that do that, are selling better is because they have to keep telling their readers they've got something new out. So even if you don't have something new out, but you show up on a regular basis, you're ahead of all those authors that don't show up at all. So remember that being out there and being consistently out there is much better than not doing it at all, because your messiness makes you authentic and it keeps you connected to your audience. Now, I do know that people hate to do newsletters. I hear it all the time. They're a challenge to keep up with consistently, even when you have the right system and tools. Sometimes authors need more than just a system. They need ongoing support and accountability to make your newsletter habit truly stick. And that's what we do at Fresh Fiction. And our package, which you're all mostly members of, is Fresh Access. It's designed to help you with ongoing support. We have features of the accountability so that you can show up every week, and that when motivation fails, as it does for all of us, is that we have templates and prompts and done for you systems that'll help you make it feel effortless. And you have a network and a community here that will help you keep this going. So whether you want to keep doing it by yourself or you need a little more help, we're here to help you. And now, because I promised, we're going to actually do 4 newsletters. So I need a guinea pig. Who wants to be the guinea pig? Raise your hand. Thank you, Mary. All right. We are going to do Mary Burton, and we are going to, first of all, we're going back to sharing my screen. And this time, okay, we're still going to share this one. We're going to bring it back over so I can actually see it. Okay. We're going to go into my ChatGPT. I like to use ChatGPT. Everybody see this? Wait a minute, it didn't come up. Oh, it helps if I push the share button. And it's got big numbers on the screen. I'm like, what's going on here, guys? What's going on? Okay, so I am not presenting anymore. We are going to get rid of that. And hopefully that doesn't get rid of everything. So here is the prompt. All right, everybody can see it. Somebody say yes. Yes, okay.
I see an older woman, Sarah.
Do you? That's my grandmother.
I see your grandmother.
You all see my grandmother.
Yeah.
Yes.
Isn't she lovely?
Was the prompt. I thought that was the prompt.
No, that is my that I have to keep my grandmother there with her finger up saying, Sarah, you need to get your act together. Okay. Now do you see my prompt?
Yes. Okay.
Okay. I got this little resin. Okay. So it's really easy. And where I have the square braces is where we're going to change it. So it's going to be, okay, Mary, you are a warm conversational newsletter writer we're telling the AI how to act, and we're going to put your real name in here, Mary.
Okay, Mary Burton.
Burton. Author of your genre, so romantic suspense, is that what you want to do?
Thrillers, they like that.
You want to be thrillers? Okay.
Yeah.
Of thrillers. Okay, now what is your audience? We're adding a little bit extra. My
audience, typically, you mean like demographics?
No, or what? Or like women readers?
Yeah, females, 35 plus, usually married.
Who love the thrill of suspense.
Yeah, they love to be scared.
Who love being scared when they read. Like that? Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you have to be really distinct in what you're telling it to do. So you want it to write a 300-word newsletter that opens with a friendly personal greeting and focuses on one topic. Let's pick a topic. Let's
Well,
say,
It's January, so it's a new draft, a new book,
on starting a new book.
starting a new book in a new year.
Okay. And the rest of it, we really don't have to change. So include a brief personal anecdote or observation, ends with a gentle question to encourage replies, uses short paragraphs and conversational language, sounds like a note from a writer friend, not a marketing email. The
Okay.
tone is encouraging, authentic, slightly vulnerable. The audience is readers who love books and writers and thrills. And the style is 2 to 3 sentence paragraphs, occasional em dashes. You could take that out if you don't like em dashes. Do you
No, I
like
like those. No,
Okay.
they read faster.
Yes, and warm punctuation. So now what I'm going to do is just copy this whole thing. Did you see that I copied it?
Correct.
And I'm going to flip over into my Chat GPT. You can use Gemini or what's the other one called? One that starts with
Perplexity.
this. No, not Perplexity. The one that starts with a C. That used to be really good for writing, but now all they're doing is programming.
Mm,
I don't know. Okay, so we're going to use this one. So when I do new chat, it's a clean plate here. And all I need to do is copy that and paste it in.
okay.
Okay, and I hit enter. Well, I hit the little up arrow.
Right.
Okay, it's thinking. And it's writing. Remember, this is a
Great.
first draft.
Right.
Okay, do you want me to read this to you? Or
No, I
Mary,
mean,
how about you read it to us? Can you see it?
yes. There's something about a new year that feels like standing on the edge of the woods at dusk, quiet, full of possibility, and just a little unsettling in the best way. This week I opened a brand new document and typed the first line of a new book. I stared at that blinking cursor longer than I could admit or care to admit. Even after all these years, starting still makes my stomach flutter. What if I don't remember how to do this? What if the fear doesn't come? It always does. In the early days of a story are my favorite and my most fragile. The characters are just shadows, the danger only a whisper. I know something terrible is coming, but I don't yet know who will survive it or how it will cost them. And not knowing is thrilling and a little scary for me. I wrote the first scene with a cup of coffee that went cold beside me, and the house went still from the holiday, and the house still quiet from the holidays. Outside, everything felt reset. Inside the story, through darkness was already creeping in. In contrast, new beginnings paired with looming danger felt right for January. Starting fresh doesn't mean starting fearless. It just means showing up anyway, trusting that the story will reveal itself one page at a time. I remind myself that every year, sometimes every chapter. If you're beginning something new, reading, writing, dreaming, I hope you'll be gentle with yourself in the early pages. The best stories always take a little courage to begin. So tell me, do you love the very start of a book when anything can happen, or do you prefer when the danger is already closing in? It's good.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
would shorten it a little bit. Do you think people read that much?
Well, that's your entire newsletter.
Right.
It's not really that long. So you're not putting
Okay.
anything else in there.
Would you add, and this is, I know you'll probably get to this, but I usually will put links to the current books. Would you do that, or would you just leave that out?
I would, what we're trying to do here is it's just doing that. So in your subject line, or not your
Right.
subject line, your signature line, you
Right.
could put in there your,
Links.
you know, your final book or something like that.
Gotcha.
Or
Yeah.
can remember this is a draft, so that you're starting here and you're going, okay, this is giving me things that I can go off it. There's some things that you could change. I'm like, where you, when you read it out loud, there was things like you were stuttering over and you're like, no, that
Right.
doesn't sound like me. And you would go ahead and change that. So you could possibly refer back to a book that you started in, pretend you started in January one year or whatever, and it gave you some difficulty. It was, then
Right.
I would do that as a PS. I know if I go back to my past, here is a book that started off rough, but it came out pretty good. What do you think? And then you would just do a link to that on your website, or if
Okay.
you wanted to go to Amazon.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Now, this is great.
So
I love the prompts.
okay, so now we're going to use the same prompt, but what we're going to do is just change it. So that's week one, right? So now we're just going to I'm just copying, pasting in here, but now I'm going to go ahead and edit this. You're still Mary Burton,
Right.
and your readers still like being scared, and you still want them to write a 300-word newsletter that opens with the friendly, focuses on one topic. Now the topic is what we're going to change. So our next thing is okay, so we're still, what would you like your second topic to be? Something, how about we work on something that's like more personal? Do you have an anecdote or something?
About writing New Year's resolutions or
Yeah, how about okay, how about do you do New Year's resolutions?
why I don't do them.
Okay, so the topic is going to be why I don't do New Year's resolutions. And that's all you're changing. You're
Right.
just changing that one topic. Because your audience doesn't change, who you are doesn't change, your tone doesn't change. So, I mean, once you fine tune it, because you may want to go back and say, well, I just don't like the M dashes, or
Right.
it's your personality that you're going to go in there. Okay, you want to try newsletter number 2?
That was too. Or do we read it? Okay.
Yeah.
January always arrives with a lot of noise. New year, new you, bold promises written in ink that somehow fades by February. I've learned something about myself over the years, though. I don't do New Year's resolutions. I used to try. Every January, I'd make a neat little list and feel very virtuous about it. Write faster, be better, do more. And almost immediately, the pressure would creep in, stealing the joy right out of the work. One year, I remember sitting at my desk on January 2nd, staring at a resolution that always felt like a failure. The story on the screen didn't care what month it was. The characters weren't impressed by my good intentions. They just wanted honesty and patience. Thrillers have taught me something important. Fear doesn't respond well to force. You can't rush dread or demand tension show up on the command. It builds slowly, scene by scene, heartbeat by heartbeat. Creativity works the same way. So instead of resolutions, I choose rhythms, showing up, listening, letting the story and the year unfold naturally. Some days are productive, some days are quiet, and both matter more than I used to admit. I still believe in fresh starts. I just don't believe that they have to come with ultimatums. Life is always intense enough without turning January into a personal interrogation lamp. I guess, okay, lamp. This year, I'm choosing curiosity over pressure, progress over perfection, and a little grace when things don't go exactly as planned, which they do in books or in life. If you're feeling the weight of expectations right now, consider this your permission slip to breathe. There's plenty of time for the story to get scary in all the right ways. Do you make New Year's resolutions, or have you found your own way to start fresh? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's better than I can
And
do.
yeah. And well, the thing is that this tone, remember we said thriller, And
Right.
it's really emphasizing all of those things. It's writing in a very thrilling way because
It
we're gonna
does.
try after we do the four, we're gonna try changing the tone and see what we get from that to see if, if you were a rom-com writer or something,
Or if
whatever.
I'm writing a Mary Ellen Taylor novel, which is a whole different
Right.
vibe.
Which is a whole
Yeah.
different vibe. Yeah. And now the next one is we're going to use the same basic prompt, but what we're going to do is this is going to be the newsletter. Like let's say the third week newsletter, you always refer back to what you're reading and to what somebody, so that you can bring in another person's book. So it's like you're not selling your own book, but you're bringing in somebody else's book.
Okay.
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 Okay, so we're going to head and put the prompt back at the back in our box. And we're moving down to the focuses on one topic. And instead of starting a new year, new this, we are going to say, let's see, what's a book that you've read recently, or somebody that you would like to, who you think writes in your same genre, but do you would like to refer to? I don't know.
Well, I just had a library book drop, Long Bright River by Liz Moore. And I'm reading that. Very good.
Okay, Long Bright River,
River by Liz Moore. Liz Moore,
Liz.
Moore.
Okay. Okay, so the focus is on let me see. I need to have Pat. If you do a shift enter, it gives you the extra spaces for the paragraph.
Oh, so you don't hit
Okay.
it. Okay.
Yeah, so because it doesn't read them, but I, as human, need to read that. So here I'm
Okay.
focusing. My one topic is Long Bright River by Liz Moore, the book I'm reading. Okay. And that's really, hopefully, that's all we have to say. It should go out and find the information about Liz Moore.
Yeah, she's everywhere.
There we go.
Feels weird
I
to be
haven't,
talking about another writer.
huh?
It feels weird to be talking about another writer.
Okay. So, I bet this is the whole thing about newsletter swaps, newsletter
Uh-huh.
book swaps, is that you're really helping somebody else. So like if you have a friend or somebody, you would include their book. But what you want to do is make it personal to you, because readers have now realized that when you dump in a book and you go, this is my friend, whatever, you're giving a recommendation for it. And so the thing is that that's going to be connected to you. So you need to be personal about it. Like you're actually reading and it's not just you're doing a newsletter swap. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I've found that, it's very effective to help each other, but it's not effective to help each other if you're just saying, read this book because my friend told me to, because that is what the reader is thinking. It's
It
not
has to be
a,
genuine.
it has to be genuine. So what we're doing here is adding that, making it genuine. So I haven't read The Long Bright River by Liz Moore, so I'm not even sure what it's about. So the things that it's saying here about how there's danger in it and things like that,
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it went and looked it up or not, if it's just making it up. So you as a reader would know this.
Right. Yeah, she's actually going to be speaking virtually at the end of this month, so that would be a good tie-in on the local library. The local
Yeah.
libraries will pick speakers, and she's going to be one of them. Do we read it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Hello, my brave reader friends. I wanted to tell you about the book that's been keeping me up a little later than planned lately, Long Bright River by Liz Moore. One of those quiet, unsettling reads that doesn't shout, but still gets under your skin. I picked it up thinking I'd read a chapter or two before bed. Instead, I found myself lingering over the pages, rereading lines, letting the weight of the story settle. It's not a roller coaster thriller. It's something deeper, sadder, and more haunting in ways that feel very sad, which is true. What struck me most is how personal the danger feels, the streets, the family bonds, the choices that can't be undone. It all feels close enough to touch. The suspense isn't just about what will happen next, but about who these characters are when the worst of life presses in. As a writer, I admire how much restraint the book has. Trust the reader, it lets silence do some of the work. There's something brave about it, and I feel myself slowing down, paying more attention, letting the tension build in its own time. I noticed something else too. While reading, I caught myself thinking less like a writer and more like a reader again, the kind who reads for feeling, not structure. That doesn't happen all the time, true. And when it does, it's a treasure. I treasure it. Books like this remind me that fear doesn't always come from shadows and sudden twists. Sometimes it comes from love, loss, and the terrible hope that things might still turn out okay. If you're reading Long Bright River, I'd love to know, did it linger with you too? If not, what's the last book that quietly got under your skin and refused to leave? It's good.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so now we're ready to do, this would be like our third week. So now we're ready to do the fourth week, which is when we're actually, again, I'm putting it in and I'm going to go down here and remember it's Shift Enter. And when you do Shift Enter, it doesn't, Enter sometimes makes the whole thing go, but if you do Shift Enter, it doesn't do
This
that.
gives you
So it's,
space. Okay.
yeah. Okay, so I'm looking for my focuses on one topic here. And if it's easier for you to put this in like TextPad or even Word or Google Docs or something like that, do that so that you can have a reference of how you change things, because you can always go back and copy the prompt and like modify it a little bit. Okay, so this focus is going to be on one of my books, one of your books.
Okay.
So give me a book.
Trust, no, an old one or one coming up in 26?
An old one.
An old one. What was last year? What she saw. I can't even remember.
You can't even remember what she saw.
What she saw.
Okay, let's just let it like this and see what it comes up. Well, do we need to do, yeah. Okay, let's see how this goes. We may need to give it a little bit more thing. Oh, oh, this is good. I would buy your book now.
Yeah, me too.
All right, Mary, go. Read
All
it
right.
to us.
Hello, my brave reader friends. I've been thinking a lot lately about What She Saw, my 2025 book, and what it felt like to write it. Not the plot twist or the danger, those always come, but the quieter moments in between. This was one of those stories that followed me around. I'd be making coffee or folding laundry and suddenly see a scene play out in my head, uninvited and sharp. You know that feeling when that thought taps you on the shoulder and won't leave you alone? That was this book. What stayed with me most was the idea of witnessing something you can't unsee. How one moment can fracture your sense of safety, your trust in the world, even your trust in yourself. Writing that emotional fallout felt just as important as writing the suspense. There are days I had to slow down, not because the story wasn't moving, but because it was moving too fast. I needed to sit with the characters, let them breathe, let their fear feel earned. I think readers can always tell when a story rushes past the hard parts. As a reader myself, those are the books that stay with me. The ones where the danger isn't just external, but personal, where survival means more than getting out alive. It means finding your footing again afterward. What I hope to capture in What She Saw, not just the pulse pounding moments, but the quiet tension that lingers when the lights are off and the house is still, the kind that makes you check the locks twice just in case. Writing it reminded me why I love this genre and why You do too. Fear has a way of sharpening everything. It makes courage matter more. I'm curious, what's the kind of thriller that haunts you the longest? The fast, furious kind or the slow burn that creeps in and stays? Good.
Okay. And then you would definitely put a link to
What
buying
she
the
said.
book. So this is really good is this is a sales newsletter, but it's not salesy. It doesn't like it's not hitting me on the head as a reader saying
Buy
buy
my
this
book.
book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if I wanted to combine, I guess I'll just get chat to do this. But so each month, my tagline on my newsletter is now two authors, one shelf, since I have the two names. So I would
Uh-huh.
just include Mary Ellen in the original prompt and
Yeah,
just
let's try that.
okay.
Let's try it. Okay. For Mary Burton and
Off,
Mary Taylor. No,
Mary
Mary
Ellen
Ellen
Taylor.
Taylor.
Yeah.
Author of, okay, we have to change who you are now. You're author of two,
Of thrillers and women's fiction of two different genres or same female audience.
who love, they all love being scared.
They love emotional, thrilling emotions and thrills, emotions and tension, danger. Sometimes there's danger, sometimes not.
Okay. So we're still going to write the same kind of thing, but focuses on one topic. Okay. I'm just giving it here in the quote so you can see where the bullet
Right.
points are. Okay. Now, we're going to change your tone a little bit and make it encouraging, authentic, slightly vulnerable, but also warm. How about warm?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. And all right. So, readers who love books and writers. And we're going to get style is going to stay the same. All right. So let me go over this. You are a warm conversational newsletter writer for Mary Burton and Mary Ellen Taylor, author of two different genres, thrillers and women's fiction. The audience, my audience, is female readers who love emotions and tension, some danger. Write a 300-word newsletter that opens with the friendly greeting, focuses on one topic. Remember, we started with starting a new book, a new year,
Right.
includes a personal anecdote or observation, ends with a gentle question to encourage replies, uses short paragraphs and conversational language, sounds like a note from a writer friend, not a marketing email, the tone is encouraging, authentic, slightly vulnerable, warm. The audience is readers who love, do we want to emphasize female readers?
No, I have a little crossover. I would just
Okay.
stick it with readers.
All right. Style of 2 to 3 sentence paragraphs, occasional em dashes, warm punctuation. Let's hit it and see what it says. Oh, now we're dear reader friends. We're not brave anymore.
That's right. That's because we're more emotional and warm.
Okay, so you want to read this one?
Hello. Yeah. Hello,
Yeah.
dear reader friends. There's something quietly powerful about the start of a new year. Not loud or flashy, just a soft pause that invites you to take a breath before stepping forward again. As writers, we both feel it every January. We're each starting new books right now, and even after years of doing this, the blank page still makes our hearts flutter. One of us leans into danger and tension, and the other leans into emotion and connection. But the beginning always feels the same, hopeful, uncertain, full of possibility. This week, one of us, sounds one of us, opened a brand
Yeah.
new document before the sun was fully up, coffee growing cold nearby. The other carried a notebook from room to room, jotting down half-formed thoughts, not ready to commit them to the screen just yet. Different rhythms, same quiet excitement. A new story at the start of a new year feels symbolic in a way that's hard to explain. You don't know who your characters fully are yet. You don't know how much trouble they'll face or how deeply they'll change. All you know is that something meaningful is waiting to unfold. We've learned not to rush these early days. The first chapters aren't about perfection, they're about listening, letting the story reveal its heartbeat, trusting that tension, emotion, and truth will find their way in, one page at a time. If you're beginning something new this year, big or small, we hope you'll give yourself some grace. Beginnings don't have to be bold or brave. Sometimes they're quiet, tentative, and deeply sincere. So be grateful you walk alongside us as readers. You understand what stories like yours are built moment by moment through curiosity, courage, and care. Tell us, do you love the feeling of a fresh start, or do you prefer easing into the year slowly, letting it unfold in its own time?
Okay, so now
Good.
the first thing that hits me is that it got confused. It thinks you're two people.
I know I sound
So
a
that
little,
means the prompt was wrong.
yeah, just,
So what we have to do is we can either argue with it. Let's clarify it.
I'll just say
Say,
rewrite and make it known that
okay.
I am one person, two genres.
Okay, you are writing a Mary Burton book right now
Mary
or
Ellen Taylor, Mary Ellen
a
Taylor right
Mary
now.
Ellen Taylor. Okay.
Mary Burton starts in the spring.
And I'm going to call you a persona.
Okay. I always say please too. I feel like I need to be polite.
Oh, I didn't read that. Sorry, guys. So I am one person who writes in two genres. I need you to focus on the Mary Ellen Taylor persona. Please rewrite with focus on emotion and women's fiction.
Yeah, I see what you're saying though, and I would keep playing with this. Like it would be like
Yeah,
it's a balance, first this book, then that book, and
right.
yeah, no, but I see exactly what you're saying.
Okay. So this is what you're doing now because it comes up with all of these drafts for you. And you can see how they change just a little bit by adding, like if you change the tone or you change the genre or whatever, you change little bits and pieces of it, you're directing the AI to give you some more hints. Now, for single one of these, I would take it, put it in Word or Google Docs, and then rewrite and then, make it sound more like Sarah or make it sound more like
Right.
Mary. But the thing is that you can sit down and see the whole month and write the whole month out for that.
Oh yeah, editing is
That's what,
quick. Yeah, sitting down to edit it goes very quickly, but when I have to write this stuff from scratch, because it's hard to write about yourself,
yeah,
it feels presumptuous.
it does. I think what it's come up with is not really because you indicated you don't want it salesy, you don't want it those different ways, so it's not coming up that way. And that's how you can use AI to help you do this. Okay?
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Does anybody else want to be a guinea pig?
Candace.
All right, Candace, go ahead and unmute.
I'm unmuted.
All right. So we're going to say you're still a warm conversational newsletter writer for, do you want me to put the
Candace
full
Lynn
name in here?
Candace Lynn Talmadge.
And writer of?
High fantasy.
And your audience?
My audience is mature female readers, like 45 older. Who love certain tropes. I mean, they're like chosen one, forbidden love.
Okay, we're not doing tropes.
Okay, so just
Okay, so that they are, let's just do high fantasy and see what it comes up with, okay?
that'll work.
All right, we're not going to change anything else except for the one topic she chose starting a new year, a new book. What would you like to start as your one topic?
Latest book in series coming out soon.
No, that's not a topic.
That's not a topic. Okay.
Well, you have to tell it what the book is. You'd have to give it some description about the book.
Okay. Well, how about this is kind of interesting. It's like I hate the way my series is developing, but I can't change it.
Why can't you change it? Just
Because
curious.
that's the story. The story is how a demon created enough chaos that it destroyed a whole society and a whole nation.
This is what I'm understanding from what you just said. I hate the way my series is developing. The chaos is overwhelming.
The chaos and
No, you don't explain it to me. I'm a reader. So
Okay.
I'm listening to what you're saying because this is what the AI is. It's teaching, it's like you're overthinking this really. We need to make it simpler.
Is it
So,
when
You're right,
when
and
a
that's
story has a
good.
mind of its own? Story
okay.
kind of takes over. When a story takes over, it has a mind of its own. The characters surprise me in ways I wasn't expecting. Something like that.
Thank you, Mary. That's
Okay.
excellent.
All right, let's take this and flip over and we're going to start a new chat because we don't want AI to be confused with Mary. We want to be all Candace. So we're putting this in. So remember, I started a new chat. Okay, Candace, can you read this?
Let me get closer. Okay. All right. I'll have to edit it. I'm settling in with a cup of tea, no, coffee this morning. The kind that steams up your glasses and makes you slow down whether you want to or not. It feels like the right moment to tell you something I've been wrestling with lately. I hate the way my series is developing. There, I said it. Not because it's bad, far from it, but because it's no longer behaving. What I thought would be a tidy, well-managed story has turned feral. Characters making decisions I didn't outline, scenes are growing teeth. The plot keeps tugging me somewhere darker, deeper, more complicated than I planned. I used to believe writers were in charge. Lately, I feel more like I'm following footprints through the woods, hoping they lead somewhere safe. No, they don't. I can tell you that. A few nights ago, I sat down to write a simple chapter. I knew exactly what was supposed to happen. 2 hours later, I stared at the screen, stunned. The story had veered off entirely, and somehow it felt more honest than anything I'd planned. I didn't like it. I loved it. Both things can be true at once. There's a strange grief in watching a story outgrow your expectations. You mourn the version you thought you were writing, but there's also a quiet thrill because something alive is happening and you're lucky enough to witness it. Maybe that's the bargain we make as storytellers. We start with control and end with trust. Have you ever loved something even when it surprised you? Or resisted it at first because it changed? I'd love to hear about that. Now that is spot on. And yes, as we were doing all this and I was listening to you go with Mary, I was thinking this thing kept popping. I really hate the way my series is going, but I can't stop writing it because it's like the train wreck you can't look away from.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Mary.
You're welcome. So we took the same, what I'm trying to tell, what do we want? We have somebody who wants to do something a little lighter because we've been kind of heavy in the tone. So do we have somebody who would like to volunteer some humor? We could try changing up the tone for some humor. Leah, do you want to go? Leah's like saying, hell no, I don't want to do this, but we're going to do it. I'm going to pick on you anyway, Leah. Okay.
Okay, no, I was thinking it was like I have no, my mind is blank. I have no idea.
Okay, well then we're going to help you, Leah, because we know what
All
you
right.
write. You are a warm conversational newsletter writer for Leah Vale, author of Western. I
Cowboy
like Western.
romance.
Cowboy romance, yes.
Cowboy romance.
My audience is female romance readers.
Yeah, pretty general.
I don't know if you want to say anything else about them.
Well,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll go see what it comes up with. We're gonna say, okay, we're
yeah.
gonna do
I
New
was gonna,
Year. What?
oh, I was just gonna say just people who, it's not really snark, but who like a little humor with their romance, but it's not comedy, so I don't
Yes, that's
know.
what we want. Who love humor and how do you spell humor?
O-U-R, humor? No, humor? R.
Bridge.
There we go.
There.
We finally got it. Who love
I'm British.
and
No, I'm
snark
not.
in the dial. Okay, if you love humor and smart, we're gonna leave it go at that. And instead of hating the way your series, let's go back to New Year, new year, new book. That's going to be
Well,
the topic.
yeah, I'm
Okay,
actually,
so
I'm trying to
your
finish,
tone.
I'm trying to
Go
finish
ahead.
a book. I'm actually trying to finish a book right now. I'm at the very last 2 chapters. So it's New Year, but an old book. There you
Okay.
go.
And ends with gentle question. These are going to stay the same, but our tone is going to be more than, it's going to be funny and authentic and not
Yeah.
do you want to be vulnerable?
I
Not
don't know.
really.
Not really.
Okay. So we'll just be funny and authentic. Okay. Our
There
tone
you
is
go.
different. The readers who love books and writers, we're not going to get thrills. Okay.
Sexy
And
cowboys.
cowboys.
Yeah, stick with the
Okay.
cowboy.
The ladies
All
like
right.
them.
Okay, so there we go. We've just changed it up a little bit. We're going to start a new chat. I don't want to get confused with Candace. And you're directing it each time. So like if you have 2 personas or you want to change your kind of thing up, just start a new chat and it's not going to, otherwise it'll get deeper into this. Okay, Leah, can you read this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, it even gave you a subject line.
Subject line, yeah. New Year, same cowboys, and one stubborn book. True. Hi, friend. Happy New Year from me. My coffee, and a cowboy who refuses to behave on the page. I hope January is being gentle with you so far. Soft blankets, good books, and at least one fictional man who knows how to use his hands. Every January, I get this quiet but determined feeling that this is the year I finally finish the book without detours, drama, or side quests. Just me, the story, and a clear path to the end. And every January, the book laughs softly and does whatever it wants. This year's challenge, a hero who keeps wandering off to do one more thing that was absolutely not in the outline. You know the type, cowboy confidence, a little too charming, convinced he knows better than the author. He probably does, annoyingly. I'll sit down with the best intentions. Today we are finishing chapter 12 and somehow end up deep in a scene that didn't exist yesterday, eating snacks meant for later, wondering how it got dark outside again. Still, there's something hopeful about starting fresh, even when the process stays messy. I've realized finishing a book isn't about discipline so much as showing up, sitting down, listening, letting the story unfold at its own stubborn pace, kind of like life, or love, or breaking in a new pair of boots. So that's where I am, chasing a deadline, negotiating with fictional cowboys, and trusting that the ending will show itself when it's ready. Tell me, are you starting anything new this year? A book, a habit, a dream? Or are you just trying to survive January with good stories and better snacks? I like that.
Cute.
Yeah. Now, what I'd like everybody to realize is that we used AI, we used the same basic prompt, but what we did is we changed the personality. We put ourselves into it. So that is what AI can help you do without sounding, the same for everybody.
Right.
So
Well,
now we don't have time to do all four of them for
No.
for the rest of you, but I just wanted to open it up. Does anybody have any questions or anything, or ideas or thoughts, or how was this?
when you do it every month, how do you come up with, by the time you get to May, how do you know what your first prompt should be for that month? Do you make it seasonal? Do you make it?
Yes, I would make it okay, so we did for January, it was just like new year, new you. But
Mhm.
what you're doing is you're setting up that each week or each newsletter is going to have a different theme. So it's going to be, one is a personal thing, showing something personal about me. The second one is going to be like an anecdote, or it could be like taking an excerpt from your book or something and seeing what it comes up with. The third one would be, okay, I'm sharing somebody else's work to show the readers that I am a reader, but also in the case that you were going to show somebody else's work kind of thing, if you were doing like a newsletter swap and that kind of thing. And then the fourth one would be pushing a book, either your backlist book or your future book. Like if book is coming out now or coming out next month, you would like to you would talk about it. And then you repeat that over and over again. So the only thing that's going to change is like, okay, this is January. So it was new, focus on new you, new year, whatever. February, we got Valentine's Day, but we also have
Okay.
Mardi Gras. And we also have, if your thing is more the Lent and that kind of thing, you could put that in there. Okay. March is, spring. We're talking about spring. Spring is coming. It's new thoughts, whole springy things.
Right.
April, so you see how it would change in a combination of based on the season and based on anything that's happening there, because that's very relatable to your readers. Your readers are living the same places that you are. And you could sit
Right.
down and do this like at the beginning of the month or the end of the month before, and you could write all four newsletters. And when you're doing it in that same chat like window in that, if you're focusing on one book, like we could have added to that. I want to also include glimpses of the book that's coming out in March. For example, here's the title and a little bit about it. Okay.
Lee, one thing I did was I gave it a rough idea of what I knew I was going to be talking about next year, like book releases. And then I said, give me a 12-month editorial calendar. Give me a theme for each month.
Well, so
So
AI did that for you?
I asked AI I changed some
Good.
of it, but it got me started. So I just said,
Okay.
AI, give me some idea. And it knows when the writers' holidays are and St. Patrick's Day and all that good stuff.
Good. And do you set the newsletter to arrive in inboxes on the same day each week, same time?
Yes. Same
Yeah,
day,
that's what
same
Sarah.
time. And once you write them, you just schedule them. Now you notice that we weren't putting any pictures in any of these. If you wanted to include pictures, you could also ask it to give you an idea of what kind of a picture would be good for this
Good idea.
that goes with the theme. So you seriously could, within an hour to an hour and a half, write 4 full newsletters, put them in your MailChimp, MailerLite, Constant Contact, whatever. Do the schedule for each of the different times, so they would come out like every Wednesday, at noon or something like that.
And I changed I go into Canva each month and change the color of my newsletter header, but should I just keep it consistent and
Yes.
just like a consistent color brand?
You should keep it consistent, because people when they're reading their newsletters or when they're opening their email, the things that are similar, then that gives them an idea of what it is. You know, they're going to connect a color with you. They're going to connect something with you. And also what you want to do is, if you are including an image, you need to have one bar of line that repeats the basic color of that image, because some people open their emails without the images. If they see that bar of color, and what I have been doing is using like our pink, but then I use white as the lettering in it, so that when it opens in like Outlook, because Outlook doesn't download images right away, you have to actually tell it to do that. And it doesn't matter how many times you tell it to do that, it still decides when it's going to do it and not. And Gmail is the same way sometimes, just being a bitch here. But the breaks of color will actually break up your newsletter, but it also, like a header, if you put that in color, it just like, oh, okay. It makes you stand out from other newsletters and other emails.
So even if I put a picture in there, doesn't mean somebody's going to see it. And what's the trick to get people to see that picture? I mean, I don't have to do a picture, but it's nice.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt to put pictures in there, and you can also vary where you're putting the picture in your newsletter. Like, you could put it at the top, you could put it in the middle, you could even put it at the bottom. You could combine it with like the animated GIFs. You can get one of those and put those in there. It should go along, and you can ask AI to give you a suggestion of what would be more appropriate or what it thinks would go with it, and it will give you an idea. If you use Canva, you can also ask it to give you now a Canva prompt, and then you just copy that and stick it right in Canva. And it will come up with, you don't even have to think of the prompts of what do you want to put into Canva. It will just it just does the whole thing for you, which is amazing. And this has just changed in like the last 4 months.
So AI writes the prompts, ChatGPT writes the prompt for the image that I'm going to cut and paste that into Canva, and that'll give me the image to put in my newsletter.
Yeah. Let me show you. Let me go back to sharing the screen. And sorry, I want to make sure I'm not giving you all my grandmother again. Not that you would. Okay, so let's take starting a new story. This is the Mary Burton thing. Okay, so, right. Let me just make sure. Yeah, 2 genres. Okay. Give me a Canva prompt to make image for the first newsletter. Okay, so this is the prompt that we're going to put in. But before we get there, we could say this would be the text that we could add to it. We could also add the style notes you want to be, elegant serif or soft handwritten. You want the colors to be warm ivory, soft gray, muted sage. Now you could put your own colors in here. You could say what you want. You don't want the things. And then you can give alternative prompts, brighter, moodier, minimalistic. Would you like it to be brighter, moodier, or minimalistic before I go and try this?
How about brighter?
Brighter.
Or minimalistic. How about minimalistic? That would be the best, probably.
Okay. So it's refined the Canva prompt because I'm going to put this in, not the rest of this stuff. Okay.
Okay.
And so I'm just going to copy it. Then I'm going to open my Canva. I'm going to start something new. Canva AI. And so I just put this prompt here.
Canva AI. So you're in
Oh, I
Canva
forgot to say
AI.
image. Sorry. You can always go back.
Okay.
Okay, so what it had said was this idea, let me go back to this idea was to put a fresh page, beginning again, a softer, that's the text that we could possibly, if we liked any of those. If you
Mhm.
don't like any of these, you could just tell it to try it again. If if you're like, what it does is it gives you a starting place. And the more that you use it, the more you're like, oh, now we've got this. Like, let's say, I like this one, for example, and then all I have to do is hit edit. And I could add the text box. I mean, this is how fast it is, really.
Yeah.
So I'll just put the text box there, and I'm going to use a fresh page.
Perfect.
Oops. You could just play with this. See,
Right.
I try to do things where I don't play with it too much because I'm busy. I want to get this done. So
Right.
like you could use this, you could just save this off as a your header file. You could put your little logo on here if you have your logo ready to go. And there you have a graphic to go on the top of your newsletter.
Newsletter. Great.
So it's really that simple. Do we have any other questions or thoughts? Now, next session, which is in 2 weeks, I brought somebody in really good. I'm bringing in an expert who has managed in the last 2 years to reach 2 million people via podcasts and in printed or in magazines and things like that. So she's going to go over how to find, how to pitch, all of that good
Great.
stuff to get yourself on a podcast, where you find the podcast, how to get yourself written up in like magazines or newsletters or other things. I thought that
Yeah.
would be, she's got a whole workshop on this. So she's
Oh,
going to
nice.
present it in 2 weeks, which is the 16th.